Okay, just as a quick refresher, the quality initiative, when we transition from PEAK to the open pathways effective this year, one of the new requirements for accreditation is that we have a quality initiative. We will be doing an assurance argument in year 4 and year 10, and between that time frame, between year 5 and 9, we are to be doing a quality initiative. We are currently in year 4, so year 5 is the time where we can propose our quality initiative to the Higher Learning Commission. They will give us feedback and give us a go-ahead or ask us to submit with changes, but it sounds like they've been very favorable on what the institutions have been submitting. So I can't remember if it was earlier this year in January, I think we might have told you a little bit about the quality initiatives and transition to the open pathways, and we were soliciting ideas for quality proposals. So what we're here today to do is to present 6 different proposals. We have people representing each of their proposals, and like I said, we're going to keep them to no more than 5 minutes each, so we don't keep you here all afternoon. So just as a quick refresher, quality initiatives are designed to meet present concerns or something we want to do. We just returned from the HLC conference and they just reiterated, try something that you've always wanted to do. It doesn't matter if you succeed or if you don't succeed. It's our opportunity to take risks, to aim high, learn from different things. So we're wanting it to span the whole institution, so that's why we reached out institution-wide for different ideas for these initiatives. HLC will evaluate us, they say, on the effort, the seriousness, the significance of the scope, and the impact of the work. So like I said, it's not if we succeed or fail, it's just that we undertook the effort and made a genuine effort to make a difference. So with that being said, our first proposal is by Linda Abernathy. And on the feedback forms that you have, if you could just rank, like for the name of the proposal, just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and then just on one of your proposals, or one of the slips, rank your top 3. We don't need those on each of them, just on one of them, rank your top 3 at the very end of the presentations, please. I probably don't need that. No.
I feel like I'm on a tag team today with Darryl with just having all this information about budgeting today. My proposal is to take a look at our budgeting process and try to implement something that's a little bit more comprehensive and an approach that would be more collaborative, get budget managers involved with proposing, working with stakeholders and constituents to propose what the needs are going to be for each of the department areas in the part of the planning, which will take more training, it'll take more involvement, it will take probably more time, but it'll make everything a little more transition from an area where we have more details of what the budget is all about. And especially when we are asked to look at budgeting and to watch what our budgets are, getting a better understanding of where the numbers were initially coming from will be very helpful. So basically that's what I was taking a look at, some things that I thought would be good with making the change. It will take time to look at what our current processes are. There's a lot of changes that have happened in personnel. Take a look at where we currently are and then work probably a year to just even what would be a better plan, what would be a better process, what would make those improvements, and then take time to implement those. And hopefully this would foster a better understanding of all of the resource allocations, the impact of some of the economic challenges that college face, have more and more people have a better understanding of that. To me, this would tie into more of the strategic planning for not only the current period, but into the future, and try to get more involvement. A big part of this too, when we talk about being involved, we need people that will be interested in being involved and to be open to time, to getting together, to getting the training that they would need, but then everyone would have a better understanding of the whole process. So mine's pretty short and sweet. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Mary Barasevic.
this proposal is focusing on a couple of aspects of our advising program in terms of creating an advising guide for any subject area that falls under the Associate of Arts degree program. We would have an advising guide that would be closely aligned with our current format of the Associate of Arts degree. So by way of an illustration, we have this type of guide in place for business, the business administration program. And what would be nice about this is that, first of all, this would be a helpful tool for students. Students would have a master plan in place immediately. This is following a format that they're familiar with. It's going to keep the students on the most efficient path towards achieving their ultimate goal, which is their 4-year degree. They'll not only be able to earn their 2-year degree in the most efficient way through Jefferson College, but they're looking at earning their 4-year degree in the most efficient way possible. So you have the general education section, which is closely aligned with our general Associate of Arts degree format, followed by, instead of having just the elective portion, now you've got what's called the area of concentration section, which would be, for each subject area, you would have the required and recommended courses for that particular subject area. So that's going to ensure, hopefully help ensure that students do indeed take the right classes for their 4-year degree. So they're meeting elective requirements here, they're meeting 4-year area of concentration requirements, freshman, sophomore level. This would be a collaborative project. This would involve our advising experts. This would involve experts in admissions, student records, our deans, division chairs, top administration, so it would be collaborative in nature, our department faculty experts. From a student standpoint, this is an effective communication tool for them. It's going to be readily available through STARS. The student will have this as their master plan. For advisors can make side-by-side comparisons if students are maybe unsure about which subject area that they want to pursue at the 4-year degree level. From a department standpoint, this will help in planning for courses to ensure that we truly do plan for, if we're listing a course, for example, for business, we say that the probability and statistics is going to meet most 4-year school requirements, freshman, sophomore level requirement for business students. So we want to make sure we offer it frequently enough. And in terms of what this would also fall into place and fit with the existing format, we have a semester by semester guide as well, but we could maybe look to make sure we keep that up to date. We make sure too that in terms of the current format, maybe if we adopt this format that's closely aligned with the current AA degree, we can maybe modify the existing format of the semester by semester guide and make this also readily available on STARS for AAS programs. Currently, it's in the catalog, but it's not available readily through STARS that students can access the semester by semester guide. So that's what we're looking at here. Thank you.
Next we have Mark Byington.
This proposal is part of the campus safety initiative, but this section of it really is focusing on the students and how we're going to be implementing their portion, as well as I'm sure it'll affect faculty and staff. The ideal is simply to implement the initiative to add an objective in all our first-year courses regarding the instruction of the OODA loop, and I'll go into explanation here in just a second. This allows us with, as it relates to situational awareness. And as most of us would probably agree, that's probably a lost art that ourselves included go through every day, just not aware of the things that go on around us. We're very focused on what our current situation is or our need at that moment. And the OODA loop is actually going to work, we hope, to increase their decision-making process, but also getting them aware of their environment. The annual presentation to all faculty and staff regarding campus safety is part of it as well, so that we make it a regular, ongoing process every fall as it relates to security topics, but also in a sense as it relates to training themselves as well. The first step, as I said, within situational awareness is admitting that there is no one solution in creating a safe campus or creating a process. The second step is admitting that we have lost our ability as a society to properly prepare ourselves. And third step is to understand that knowledge and awareness is really the key to safety. We can change everything on campus. We can create every door possible. We can lock down every corridor. But if we're not aware of our environment, it means the individual, the single lone wolf type situation is still going to be able to get through, because we have to be aware of that. The step within our process that we hope to teach all of our incoming freshmen is the OODA loop, and I'll show you the slide itself and its process, but as it relates to this topic, the OODA loop is simply to become more aware of your danger through observation, orient yourself to your many options. Okay, do I go right, do I go left, do I go out a window? We want to decide all these things in a sense ahead of time to create this vault or this storage room that allows us to make decisions faster. I'll get into that in a minute. And decide is the third step to determine your best response. Okay, do I go left, do I go right when I go out a door? To act, to carry it out once I make that decision. This is what Boyd's loop is. I've shown it in other places and we've discussed it in other to simplify it. This is simplified in the sense that when we discuss it, it covers the topics that go on in each individual's thinking process. It's alarming per se, but when it's actually explained to a student or to a faculty member in training, they'll start to see it's something that they do on a regular basis. But we want to implement it within that setting so that the students start to do it on a daily basis and an understanding maybe if they've done something wrong, they've not completed assignment, they could actually use this step back and see the process where they went wrong. It's in a sense a advising guide. I use it within training sections to do debriefs. I've used it with SWAT operations to defensive tactics to just classroom understanding of what went wrong in presentations, and it seems to work. I do make a lighthearted deal that if my 12-year-old is well aware of the OODA loop, because I use it to him when I discuss things from soccer to when he messes up around the house. He knows what I'm first going to ask him. Well, what did you observe? You know, did you observe your mother getting upset? Well, it's the same thing we go when did you observe that other student within those actions, okay? Situational awareness is the key to it. Surviving in a violent encounter by implementing the OODA loop is your situational awareness. To put it simply, let me, for sake of time, give you this. This is an example from the Boston bombing, as was mentioned earlier. This is a camera or a shot of the bag that's inside the safety area, okay, in the running area of the Boston Marathon. Okay, this is one of the first explosions. There are 3 terabytes of video from people passing by of this package. That includes security. Okay? There is not one report, not one incident of anybody checking that bag when in fact it's inside the secured area. This is unfortunately what happened afterwards. Situational awareness is the key to recognizing that. Everybody saw it, but they're all about their own business. Nobody even walked up and said, excuse me, ma'am, is this your bag? Because that actually would have allowed them to evacuate the area. And the incident that we now know as the Boston bombing, chances are at least one of them would not have occurred. If so, not to the devastation that we've seen recorded. It's all about situational awareness. They had all the devices up, they had security in place, but nobody was being observant. That's basically the ideal of teaching. I would add that some people asked during the first presentation of how we're supposed to teach this. We are in the process of developing it in the sense that it'll be on a DVD or a disc in which the presentation of the overall OODA loop and situational awareness, ending with run, hide, and fight video, would be part of, and 2 exercises would be part of the first year experience, so that the students in a 50-minute presentation actually would be receiving this. And it would be available then for everybody else to use it as needed. The hope, as Darrell said, it could be a marketing tool because very few colleges and campuses, especially on the community level, are going to that level of preparedness. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Betty Lindeman and Kathy Johnston.
Okay, our proposal is pretty simple. It's called the SMART schedule. And like many of you all, Kathy and I attend a number of committee and subcommittee meetings. And so in the meetings this year, there's been a number of things that the groups have been talking about and proposing and researching. And so we kind of had the idea to roll these together and roll them out as one initiative. And so the SMART schedule kind of has 3 parts. The first one is SMART registration, and that would be the implementation of a no late registration college policy. And we think that's smart because students are ready for class on the first day of the semester. And you all are going to get to hear me next month because I'm going to come back to the President's Leadership Council and present to you all of the research and the recommendations from the Student Learning and Support Committee. I can't go into that today, but that is, you can look forward to that all month. Our second component is called the SMART schedule. I know that there was groups talking about modifying the class schedule so that classes would meet Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, or a majority of classes, not necessarily all of them. And we think that is smart because students can save time and money because they only come to campus, or they can only come twice a week. I'm going to let Kathy address the next one.
So the last one is smart grades, talking about students that are currently on probation. Suspension is another subgroup that we're looking at, and just trying to make sure that we have intervention strategies in place and look at our current policy of when a student becomes on probation and suspension, and seeing if we can't make some changes to help make that a better process for students and affecting a smart start for them as well.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, the 5th proposal is Alan Walmsley.
This was an idea that was discussed at the accreditation committee, and so I'm presenting on it. The idea is that we would, student persistence is a very important topic right now, and it has been for many years, but especially right now has a lot of focus, and there's certainly accreditation significance when we start talking about student persistence. As we move more towards a performance funding model, this is one of the generally one of the indicators, one of the areas that are included in a performance funding model. It improves institutions that are have more student persistence they have a stronger financial position. Here we talked about if we have an 8%, we project an 8% decrease, a simple 1% increase in student persistence is roughly $100,000 to us as an institution. And also, it's a core element of our identity. We care about student success, we care about educational quality, and so it's very natural for us to look at this as, I think, as a quality initiative. So what we would be doing is we would be, from the newly implemented committee structure, we would be asking for the standing committees to submit an action plan. And the action plan then would be one that would be focused on student persistence. So every institutional committee would focus on, with one of their action plans, would focus on student, an idea from that committee that would help our student persistence. And so then what we would do is we would look at the action plan, and then we would have, as part of our dashboard item, we would have a very prominent focus on student persistence. We would know what that number is. And there's of course various measures that are standard measures for measuring persistence. And so then institutionally as a whole, we would be focused, of course we're focused on all of our dashboard items, but especially that one particular item during this quality initiative. And so we would have a goal that we would set as part of the quality initiative, some persistence goal, maybe a 1% increased persistence annually, over the course of the quality initiative. And so if we were successful in that, that could mean as much as a 3% difference, for us. And so, from HLC, there are other institutions that have looked at this as a quality initiative, and a 1% difference is a pretty lofty goal. So it's a very broad quality initiative suggestion, but it basically would come to specifics based on the institutional committees and what they would come forth with as an action plan. So, any questions on that? Thank you.
Okay, and the last proposal I'll be presenting on is attendance and participation tracking. Everybody knows since we had our federal audit, our Title IV audit last May, that attendance has become like a new buzzword around here. And we were trying to package everything into one nice package, and we realized it was just way too big. So we also discovered that attendance is more than just attendance, it's participation as well. To constitute for students to earn the aid, they can't just attend, they have to participate in class. So we're trying to take more like a 3-phase approach, and this is where it comes in as a quality initiative. So we're in the process of developing a comprehensive attendance participation tracking process to meet federal financial aid guidelines. We had the brown bag lunch last Thursday that Alan and Mark and I hosted that is available online if you weren't able to see that. Could try to give you an idea of the two proposed systems we're looking at through Blackboard and through a student participation system. So that's kind of like our first phase. We're working on getting that implemented for fall semester, but we want to take it a couple of steps further and use our technology. And we want to automate reporting because there's a lot of reporting capabilities that we can do with this. We want to, it goes back to, without getting into too much detail, like for financial aid purposes, if a student stops participating within 14 days, we have to be reaching out to that student to see if that student intends to return. If that student does not intend to return, financial aid has to begin adjusting their financial aid. So in our first phase, it's going to be manually reaching out to those students who have stopped participating in all their courses. Down the line, we'd like it to automate. If a student just misses one class, we're reaching out to them saying, hey, is there anything we can do? How can we help? What do you need? So that would be kind of the phase 2 of it. And then phase 3, we want to do some analyzing of data that we have on students and also implement a retention initiative. There's going to be lots and lots of data and reports we're going to be able to yield out of this system once we get to that point. So this is just kind of a 3-phase approach and putting the system in place, then doing some stuff with automation, and then really going for the retention and persistence after that. Any questions? Okay, so Alan and I, on behalf of the accreditation committee, wanted to present all of the presenters. This is actually the 3rd forum that we're doing. What we are going to do then is put this online along with the SurveyMonkey survey for people who were not able to attend one of the forums so we can get their feedback. What the accreditation committee plans to do is solicit feedback probably through mid-May because then we're hoping to get together towards the end of May to review all of the feedback and then make 1 or 2 recommendations, however the feedback comes out, to the administrative team to consider over the summer. And then in the fall semester, we'll start writing our proposal for the quality initiative to submit to HLC. Anybody have any other questions about the quality initiative proposals?
What happens to the ones we don't select? They just go away, or we want them to still find a way to make them useful?
I think with our institutional committee structure, definitely those could go to some of those. I think there's a lot of great ideas, and some of them I think could be compiled into one. And I think based on the feedback that we get, we might put forth the recommendation, let's do this one combined with this one. But if not, I think they can become action plans. Our institutional committees can take ownership of these. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you for letting us present today.